the moon provides benefit from the heavens. We all know that the moon provides moonlight to propagate the human race. It's called courtship. But there's something closer to home we should know about. Viewed from space, this is from a technical publication recently, viewed from space, Earth is a serene blue sphere. But beneath this surface, there's a roiling mass of liquid nickel-iron alloy and solid iron, almost 6,000 miles in diameter. Wow, the cores, inner and outer core. The inner and outer core comprise almost a third of Earth's mass, and together they generate a magnetic field that shields life on this planet from harmful charged particles emanating from the sun. In addition to providing stabilizing energy for cell division, that magnetic field is necessary for cell division. That was demonstrated in one of NASA's early experiments. In a study published in the journal Earth and Planetary Science Letters, scientists from the National Center for Scientific Research in France say the moon plays a key role keeping life on Earth safe. Although the moon sits about 230,000 miles away, researchers believe its gravitational tug churns iron alloy in the core, which in turn helps maintain the magnetic field that protects our planet. Wow, marvelous. Let's get a few details and wrap this up. According to the classical dynamo theory, Earth's magnetic field is generated by movement of its electrically conductive liquid inner core. Okay. Creationists know, however, it was wound up, energized earlier than that. Molten iron in the outer core generates an electric current as it moves, which produces the magnetic field. If the Earth wasn't continually generated, Dennis Androlt and his team estimate it would disappear in about 20,000 years if the field wasn't continuous. Wow! Without Earth's magnetic field? That was verified to me directly by Dr. Mario Acuna of NASA. I lectured at NASA, and Dr. Acuna described how we are losing the magnetic field, losing it alarmingly. Here's a graphic of the field protecting us from some of the sun's rays. So what keeps the outer core moving? According to the classical theory, there are two forces in play. Earth's rotation stirs the iron alloy through the Coriolis effect, and heat from the radioactive decay is also thought to induce convective motion in the liquid core. However, recent chemical analysis of ancient rocks and seismological studies indicate that the core has only cooled about 540 degrees as opposed to 5,400 degrees suggested by the standard models. Standard models are not, well, I laud and applaud good science, but that doesn't explain everything. It takes the creation model to fully explain what's going on. Just as the moon's gravity controls the tides, so too does it act on the liquid inner core and mostly solid mantle. Androlt and his team contend. They estimate that the moon's pull injects over 1,000 billion watts of power into the Earth's core, acting as a kind of gravitational engine, providing the energy necessary to power the geodynamo and maintain the blistering temperatures inside Earth. The constant stirring creates friction that, along with convective currents, produces the heat necessary to keep the core flowing and the magnetic field intact. Did you get all that? Aren't you glad I don't have to read that again? The forces exerted by the moon are in slow but constant flux because the Earth wobbles slightly as it spins on its axis. The gravitational pull of the moon is exerted at different places with varying strengths over time. This variation deforms the mantle, squeezing the core beneath in a rhythm that churns the molten metal and propagates circular motion. Wow! The moon's good for a lot of things. Astronomers have already determined that the gravitational force exerted by moons of other planets, such as Jupiter's Io and Europa, can influence magnetic fields. All right, conclusion. This beautiful interrelationship between Earth, sky, and living systems requires extreme measures of sophisticated design and engineering. Evolution ignores the symphony that only God could create, could orchestrate. Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created. Now let me close with this before our three questions. Young people, to your absolute dismay, God created math. What's that? Yes. I jotted down a little note last evening. Rich, would you hold that a moment, please? No fair reading it. His wife's saying, don't open that book, you're not supposed to read it. God created math. Time is measured in successive increments. That's math. Energy involves relationships in physics and chemistry over space, through space, and over time. That's math. That's right. Space encompasses length, breadth, and height. That's math. That's right. The Earth is composed of elements counted in mass. That's math. Light, visualizing all entities, is wave, particle, and information. Did you know that light is a triplicate? Waves, particles, and information. That's math. Music involves incremental vibrations with harmonious relationships. That's math. God reveals His essence in Trinity. Not 1 plus 1 plus 1, but 1 times 1 times 1. Still 1. That's math. God expresses all things with systematic relationships. That's math. But math is not tangible. You can't touch it. You can't feel it. But you're using it right now. You're counting the minutes until I finish this so you can go to lunch. The overriding emphasis is that math comes from the mind of God.